Hello viewers, welcome to this week on streaming. It's a bumper week this week because it's 2 weeks since I last did my streaming update, but I thought I'd just have a quick chat with you all about that. So I started off a couple of weeks ago with practice on WRC, getting prepared for the Sweden rally. It took a bit of time. I'm glad I put some time into it because the stages are, for me, they were more difficult to memorize because the snow is very repetitive in many ways, and so I started off with the shorter circuits. I set up my butt kickers, so I've now got 2 butt kickers on my rig, which I bought a few years ago. One of them stopped working the week I got it. Dead, just didn't work. Put it back in the box. I tried to return it, tried testing it out, wouldn't work, blah blah. Set it up about a week ago, thinking, right, it's been sitting there for years, I need to decide what I'm going to do with it, get it fixed, whatever. And it works, bloody works. After all these years, I was typical after all that. So got the butt kickers working. So I've got one at the front of my rig, which is a very powerful one, and then I've got a gamer to the rear to give me a bit of vibration, a bit of engine kick. And it's now and again, not on all the time, because sometimes the constant vibration can do you in when you're in the seat for a long time, but now and again when you feel like an intense racing session, it really adds to that feeling of just being in the car. And sometimes it can add a little bit in terms of surface texture detail as well, just feeling the different vibrations going through. So enjoyed a bit of that. I did set a new time on Finland as well, and I think that was a top 20 time in the world, so happy with that as well. Really good. I'm going to put that up as a separate run on the channel, but it was a solid run. Definite improvements to be made, so I think I can do a top 10 in the world on that, but time being against me, it won't happen anytime soon. I also put a bit of time into Circuit Superstars on the PS4. First time I've had some time to really put into it and enjoy it. We didn't get it for release, and so it took a bit of time for me to find the opportunity to play it and get my head into the right place. And it was a fun but surprisingly I'm going to mention this when I do the separate video. It was a surprisingly stressful game to play. It requires a lot of concentration, a lot of precision. It's a cutesy looking game with a nuance of real physics to it that can be very unforgiving if you get it wrong, especially when you're racing in the pack with other cars. Getting out in front or getting some clear track position is absolutely essential. If you make a mistake, you can get bogged down, trapped behind other cars. It's difficult to overtake, and it can be really challenging. Quite realistic. It's a strange game, and it's a fun game to play, but it does require a fair bit of concentration. So not one to play as a chill out. It's more one to play as a stream in itself for a while, and I will come back to it, but it runs beautifully. I've been running it on the PS5, and I don't know what it runs like on the PS4 because I haven't tested it, but it runs beautifully on the PS5. Nice smooth 60 FPS, lots of spot effects and details, and I'll come back to that on a later video separate, and it will include part of this edit as well from the stream. So you'll see the entirety of my stream run actually included in that video on Circuit Superstars. So quite an extended run on that. Then I went back onto Returnal, just because after doing a few hours of driving, sometimes I just want to get some big guns and shoot some big monsters and stuff like that. I'd been stuck on Biome 5 for some time. I think really it's just the recent option to bring in a game save has been a game changer for me, because I just didn't have the time to put in the kind of hours that people do on games. For me, you needed to play for 2, 3, 4 hours to really make progress on Returnal. I mean, sure, there's always great players that can do it without building up their life bar, but I needed to build up and stock up my weapons. And anyway, I found a gun I really liked, and I finally got off Biome 5 and I made it to the 6th biome, and I've just been destroying enemies. It's been a surprising run through. I'm using a weapon that's nowhere near powerful enough on paper, but it's really doing the business of killing the enemies. So I'm almost at the final boss now, and I saved my game, and one of these days I'm going to go back and face the final boss. Whether I win it or not, at least I've got to the final boss of Returnal. That for me on its own is an achievement, but the good, I hope that one of these days I will complete it. Loved Returnal. I just wish I had more time to play it. What with all the driving games coming out, this year, it's just very challenging. But I need to play non-racing games on my streams, or I will lose interest. I've got to have that bit of downtime. And what I'm doing with the streams is I'm not just doing the driving game stuff I do for Team VVV. I want to show my own passions of gaming. We're done driving for the day, let's do something else completely different just to keep it all worthwhile. So more Sweden driving in the next few days. I improved my times on Sweden more and more and more, and then eventually I made it to the, and I also did, what did I also do? What's that game? I've completely forgotten the name of the game now that comes with the PlayStation. I'm going to look as I tell you now. Here we go. I'm going to find it. As I talk to you. Oh, it's gone. Not showing me the right point. And I've forgotten. Where is it called? What's it called? I can't remember the name of the game. But anyway, there was a game that comes with Playroom. And I played a bit of that just to show it off to people. Again, just something calming at the end of a session. People haven't really seen some of these games on the PS5. It's strange. It's the one that comes with the system, and it's a great little game. There it is. Astro's Playroom. There it is. I've got it in front of me. And again, thoroughly enjoyed that. It's a nice little fun, Mario World type 3D platformer. People don't really talk about it enough, but the graphics are absolutely stunning. If you've got a 4K OLED goodness TV, whack this on. All singing, all dancing. It looks absolutely amazing. I played a bit of that as well. After that, it was on to the WRC esports with the next stream. And it was much more relaxed this time than it was before. I think when I did the Monte Carlo, I felt really under stress doing Monte Carlo. And why did I feel stressed? I felt stressed because I really just wanted to see how close can I get to the esport guys. And when you're running a racing channel, you're always under pressure. People are watching. People will, take the piss out of you, frankly, if you don't do a good enough job a lot of the time on various racing games, and you want to at least put in a representative performance, put some practice in. So to end 34th in the world without a setup was great, and I know that with a setup I could have been top 20, so that's all right. I'm happy with that. I don't need to be. The top 10 are another level, by the way. They are aliens, but for me to be solid up there, whatever there is on 5, 6, 7,000 people on the leaderboard, I'm in the top, top 50 players. I'm happy if I'm in thereabouts there. So I had to go on Sweden and made a lot of progress on Sweden over the days. I wasn't able to do as well this time, but that was okay. I was quite relaxed about it. 165 I finished in the end. I didn't have a setup. There were setups out there, but the setups, when I did change my car to test one of the setups out, it was so different to my standard driving that there wasn't time to learn. I mean, you literally needed to learn. The gearing was completely different. You need to understand what they want you to do, how long they want you to hang in a gear, what gears you're taking on 2, 3, 4 corners. It was a strange one. How much torque there is in the car to hang in a gear, and how to reduce wheel spin and get that additional traction. I mean, in these conditions, snow conditions, it's all about traction, getting the most of it for those high speed sections and knowing where you can carry speed through a corner. So I did okay with it. I'm pretty happy with my state. I mean, yes, I could have found an extra 5 or 6 seconds here or there, but not without. Once you reach a certain point in racing games, you can get good to a point, and then you reach shelves, if you like, and then you need to do hours and hours of play to find tenths. After that, it really is. You take everything quick, but then you really have to understand the car and maximize it from there. So I'm pleased with that. My intention is to just keep playing some of the esports. So if you're watching on the streams, do jump on and watch me do some of the esports. That'll be great. Have all of you watching, and eventually, as I say, I'm still trying to get hold of some prizes and stuff like that for hitting 1,000 followers on Twitch, and I intend to keep that going. So the final stream of this couple of weeks was retro gaming. I had some things I wanted to sort out, which was primarily for the Gran Turismo 7 content. So I set up my PlayStation 5 and got that going. I set up Ridge Racer 6 and got into that. And it was strange playing it because I couldn't remember how to play it. So I love Ridge Racer 6, but my PlayStation 2 hasn't worked for 10 years. And there's been an issue to do with finding the right type of plugs and the right type of wattage. Anyway, I found a plug that was on paper the right one. But it turns out that even though it was correct voltage and correct wattage, you actually need a much higher wattage to be able to play consistently. So my plug overheated in the middle of the stream, and that left me with my whole stream, my Gran Turismo 3 content I was recording, gone. And we needed the Gran Turismo 3 for the upcoming Gran Turismo 7 coverage that I'm working on. So that was that. And unfortunately, I had a period of technical issues trying to get the sound working, trying to get the Sega Saturn working. Eventually, I started just playing the game on the Sega Saturn, Sekiguro Rentai. And then halfway through the stream, the sound just came on of its own accord. So it just shows there is something very strange in the system that wasn't playing the audio. And then it just turned on, just like that. So that you do get strange bugs. I mean, this is a game that's of some value, and I just wanted to show it to everybody. I'll play more of these. Again, this is important for me to be able to be myself, play my games, and just show off some different gameplay, some different skills, stuff like that you guys might not associate with me in many respects. Now, I am a general gamer, and I love films, I love games. Yeah, I love my motorsport and Formula One and all the racing stuff that we do. But I'm a gamer. All this stuff behind me, it's not. I don't just collect it. All of it's been played. A lot of it's been played for many hours to a reasonable standard, and I like to show some of that off. So some fantastic games, and more retro will come on streams. There will be a lot more streams on Twitch in the coming weeks. I intend to stream pretty much every day from the release of Gran Turismo. So it's going to be a busy month of streaming for me. Some very long hours, some very long streams. I'll be streaming Gran Turismo from Thursday the 3rd of March. And I'll be mentioning that here and there from around 11 o'clock in the morning. So you can expect to see pretty extensive driving action from me on the Twitch channel. So do jump on, do say hello. We've got a really nice community on there, a really nice bunch of people. It's nice to share my time with them, talk to them, and answer questions and show you guys the new games where I can. So not everything's gone to plan this week. The reason for this being late was essentially Grid Legends didn't work with my wheel, and that was a major blow to my content. So I started 4 days late on my Grid Legends content. By the time I got there, I had to do all the controller, wasn't able to do all the wheel review stuff and all the other content I had planned, and the launch streams. I just thought, no, I'm not going to do launch streams if the wheel's not working. I've got a plan, I've got it all set up, and it is what it is. I mean, it's Shane Codemasters didn't have that covered really, because the Gran Turismo wheel is a big deal, and it's whatever's gone on there, it's a real shame it wasn't working. So when they fix that, I will stream a bit of Grid Legends as well. But let's face it, Gran Turismo is going to take over in the next week, and I will be Gran Turismo all the way. So there's going to be a lot of GT sport. I mean, we might miss the next WRC sport, honestly, because let's face it, Gran Turismo's out next week, and if people are watching Gran Turismo, I mean, who knows? Maybe if nobody watches Gran Turismo on my channel, I'll play something else. But I think the reality is I'm going to be stuck on Gran Turismo, and you're going to see at least 5,000 to 10,000 miles of driving on there, over the next month or so. So, given what I've already done, but it's going to be a reset. So I'm wiping my game save for Thursday. So it'll be starting from scratch on Thursday, along with everyone else. Which is painful in some ways, but it's got to be done. So there you go. And other than that, just not as many streams as I would like, just because we've got Gran Turismo, we've got Grid Legends, we've got Assetto Corsa, and we've got some coverage coming on Supercross 5, and I'm just working to the bone trying to get it all done at the moment. So a bit of a bumper update this week, covering 2 weeks of streams. It will probably be 2 weeks to the next episode of this week's streaming, so it'll be this week's streaming, but then it'll be pretty comprehensive when that time comes, going over all the different action that there's been on the Twitch channel. So do give me a follow, links are in the description, and thank you all for your support, and a big thanks to the Twitch followers and subscribers. It all supports what I do, and it really means a lot to me, and it helps me just keep all of this going basically, and the best content I can do. So that's it from me for now. As ever, more soon. Hello viewers, well thanks for watching the video today. Do like and subscribe, it supports what we do. Do become a YouTube member. YouTube Patreon supports all of our content you see on the channel, and of course lots of gaming from retro to modern games. I love it all in terms of racing action. So click on one of the 2 videos just there to find out more.